Life Extension partners with me to make sure that I have everything I need.
They've researched, done the work, and are trusted.
I feel confident in knowing I'm getting the best possible product for my body.
So if you need a professional to help you with your health,
connect with a brand that cares about the science behind your health.
And find the right supplement for you.
I'm a competitor. TJ. An athlete. TJ.
One of these days.
TJ. I've never come in 8th at anything. TJ. TJ. But I came in 8th. TJ. Out of 55,000. TJ. In a Peloton class. TJ. Right. TJ. And there's one thing worse than coming in 8th. TJ. Coming second best to your brother. TJ.
Hey, Mr. Poacher.
Yeah?
Tired already? Here, have a Red Bull.
And then?
Then run faster.
Oh.
Red Bull gives you wings.
When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge starts after the finish line. When victory alone isn't enough, you keep dreaming and go beyond what's possible. The Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Part of our most rugged lineup yet.
Hey, Meta, which of these shots should I take?
You have a few options. Try to hit the yellow ball.
Hey, Meta, take a video.
Explain what you're saying. I feel like you slowly backed away from the Yemeni dude. Seems like you started. No, I haven't. I haven't backed away from it. I haven't backed away from the interview in and of itself. Okay? It's fucking ridiculous to still bring this up. This is simply a talking point. I really should stop covering it. I've been to Israel twice and I'm not Jewish, you stupid chatters. Why do you think anybody thinks you're Jewish? I haven't even seen that in the fucking chat. What are you talking about? What? No one is even... Yeah, why do you hate the Jews, bro? Am I being brigaded? What's happening right now? There's not a single fucking chatter that said you're Jewish, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? You just invented that in the fucking chat. What is happening? Are you here to just like respond to something that you didn't actually fucking engage with? What is going on? Yes, you are being brigaded. What is happening? I'm monitoring the chat too. I haven't seen it. They're trying to gaslight people outside this year, this drama, into thinking you're anti-Semitic. He's taking these moments to clip you and point to say, this is how Hassan chatters are. Yeah, what is happening at this point? No, man, I think you have the power to see what communities I'm in, and it's yours and Will's. What? Okay, I'm not even saying that you're coming from a particular community. I'm simply stating that you saw one fucking YouTube video and it primed your worldview. Like it altered your trajectory dramatically. I don't care about brigading. I asked, am I being brigaded? What the fuck's going on? Because the other guy was like, why do you hate Jews, bro? Another person in the chat, not you. Okay? Okay, as a 43-month subscriber, I was trying to understand, give you the charitability, and try to understand what you were talking about. But I'm still very much confused. You jumped from point to point, which is odd. I don't know why you did. Debate pervert. As someone who saw this live, I tried to watch it again and it absolutely infuriates me. I've been a subscriber to Hassan for 3 years, and the time of me posting this and this conversation was the biggest letdown I've experienced from him. As this conversation progressed, it turned more and more into Hassan gish galloping whatever Ethan brought up because Hassan clearly couldn't answer. Someone asked him to define what socialism would ideally look like if it was implemented. Oh. God damn, son.
Ahí donde dice freeshipments.com, encima es un gasto del exterior porque viene con el impuesto PAI y con el impuesto de percepción porque yo ya vinculé la cuenta en dólares y la vinculé a la cuenta en pesos. Entonces me debitaron ese gasto del exterior en pesos que se duplica porque acá en la cuenta, digamos, cuando vos pagas con una cuenta en pesos, te agregan el impuesto país y demás. Y es un gasto que se hizo allá en el exterior. Por lo tanto, me han usado los datos de la tarjeta, viste, cuando uno los da para... Yo en el único lugar donde los di fue en los Uber.
I can do that. I do agree with how you're covering it now.
No sé si de ahí me los han hackeado.
Perhaps the reason why you thought I was being a bit insensitive over October 7 in the beginning is because maybe you weren't acknowledging despite the fact that you literally went to Israel twice and you said.
Servicios por las páginas de ellos, a lo mejor, viste, me han hackeado la tarjeta. Así que ahí llamé a la tarjeta, reclamé ese gasto que no...
Maybe. You did mention, I said I thought he might be media trained, but you said it was while pondering his tone of response due to the translation barrier. It was the horsefucker that fixated on that to frame it as you realizing he was a terrorist. Yeah, no, there was no point. I need people to understand something. If given the opportunity, I would interview someone direct Houthi, okay? I would, abso-fucking-lutely. Probably not on Twitch as the medium, but I 100% would. I think it's odd that people think that that is not a thing that I would do. I've said I would fucking interview Barack Obama. I would interview people who have caused untold carnage. How I conduct that interview dramatically changes. If I know what their background is ahead of time. This guy wants to get a star, folks. This dude, I said I would invite him. I wanna examine his brain. He went through his point by point using clips to show how you knew he was a Houthi and that you're intentionally lying about it. That's why these people are mad, lol. No, I thought he was a Houthi. I don't have a problem interviewing a Houthi rebel directly. Okay? I don't. I don't even think that at the time it was a designated terror group. Regardless, that doesn't really matter. People are just fucking jumping on that. Would you interview someone in the IDF? Yes, of course. I have. What the fuck? I have. I've interviewed conscientious objectors and people who have served in the IDF. What are you talking about? Hello? Yes. What are you talking about? I said it, but I also asked him, yeah, if he was a Houthi in the interview. There's a... Guys. Here. Where is it? No one served in the IDF. What are you talking about? I have been more charitable and more friendly to people who have served in the IDF. I have used the writings of people who have served in the IDF. Breaking the Silence is quite literally an entire organization of people who've served in the IDF. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Kyle was an objector. I know. I'm saying. Oh my God, guys. I had to re-download Discord because my driver's fucked up. What do I need to guest star? You don't need Discord to guest star. You just do it through. You just do it through fucking this. You do it through Twitch. I just gave you a call. You just have to pick up. Hello. Hello.
Sorry, hold on. One second. 1 second. I'm getting double audio.
Okay, yeah, you're getting double audio because my stream is on. And secondly, you do not sound like you just got off of a motherfucking treadmill, okay, Schlib-Bibbler? Turn on your camera right now.
I guess I could. I would have to bring it over. I'm on my PC desktop. I'm not.
You went from the treadmill to your fucking now he's breathing. Now he's breathing heavily. It's like when I called Cutie Cinderella. When I called Cutie Cinderella.
I sat down for like 30 seconds. What do you want out of me, man?
I'm so
walking
tired.
I have a standing. I'm not walking 4 miles an hour. It's like a 1.8.
I'm so tired.
I'm walking a 1.8 for about like 3-4 hours. Okay.
Hold on. Let me see if I can lower your volume. It's really loud.
Way too.
No, it's fine. You can speak in the same volume. It's fine. I can lower it here.
Right, I'll leave my mic at the same distance. Is this okay?
Didn't you interview this guy last year? No, this is not the same guy. This is a different guy.
I have never talked to you in my life.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 43 most subscriber. Make your case. Yeah, Ofer Kasif served in the IDF. That's what I was talking about.
Okay. Look, man. I'm not coming at you from like a weird Klimchip ass perspective, so I don't have like hard evidence of like the exact streams that you covered and what you said during them, like on October 7th a year ago. Here's what I will say though. I just feel that like when October 7th happened, during the first I'd say 6 months, I feel like you didn't really recognize that like a lot of the people that were there didn't choose to be there, and what do you mean? Seemed in a lot of your sorry what
do you mean by that? A lot of people that were where didn't choose to be there
in Israel. In Israel, it seems like you kind of lumped Israelis into one bucket rather than seeing that they didn't. A lot of them didn't choose to be there. It's a multi-generational.
Can I ask you a question? Really quickly?
Yeah.
Was it when I had Jewish anti-Zionist historian Zach Foster on, or was it when I had Israeli Knesset member Ofer Kasif on, or numerous other, or even conscientious objector to the IDF, Jewish Israeli Talmidnik on, where you got the idea that I was never taught, that I was not exhibiting the diversity of thought within Israel, something that many people even made jokes about and still do to this day. I have captured the attention of all 8 of the Israeli left, the anti-Zionist left.
What? Does that not kind of seem like a gish gallop to you?
A gish gallop? I just gave you 3 examples. Well, 2 that are directly relevant that address your point of view. I talked to Dr. Ofer Kasif literally I think 4 or 5 days after October 7. He was one of the first interviews that I conducted to showcase to my audience that Israel was not of one mind. This is not a gish gallop. This is just giving you direct evidence that contradicts your main thesis.
Maybe I don't get how that relates to my thesis. Could you walk me through that?
Yes, easily. You made the claim that in the first 6 months in the aftermath of October 7, that I was creating this understanding that Israel was a monolithic force and everyone in Israeli society was of one mind. And I'm showing you direct evidence to the contrary. One of the first things that I did post October 7 was to interview a member of the actual Knesset, like the Israeli Knesset, who is an anti-Zionist. Don't you think that that directly contradicts your main thesis that I was personally invested in presenting a false narrative that all Israelis, I made it seem like all Israelis are of one mind?
So I would say that, let's say I throw one white bean in an entire bin of black beans. Does that make it a white bean salad?
What? I mean,
I don't mean. Sorry, let me change the colors there. Red versus green, whatever. It doesn't matter. But
okay. I don't think you understand. Me interviewing a member of the Israeli Knesset is not just like a random instance. It's one of the examples that disproves your point. I gave you multiple examples. I do not know how we can set the boundaries of how I could have massaged this in a direction that you're more understanding of, considering that throughout that same time frame, I covered Israeli protests, I covered the attitude that Israelis had towards Benjamin Netanyahu, within the same framework of still wanting to maintain a war in Gaza, because I was not going to lie. There was direct evidence in the form of polling that was being conducted in Israel at the time that showcased the Israeli attitude towards the bombing campaigns in Gaza.
Can you do me a favor and talk about maybe the opposite, right? I think that you are fairly centrist on this matter now, which I do appreciate.
No, I'm not. My position on this has not changed at all. I think that genocide and apartheid is completely unconscionable. It is completely immoral, and it can only be packaged to a broad audience that is receptive to such violence by consistent and steady social conditioning in the form of dehumanizing propaganda. I have never been a centrist on this matter, and I have not been a centrist since October 7. I have not been a centrist since far before October 7. My opinion on this matter didn't shift. I think your understanding of Israel's actions might have changed a little bit. Your perception of my coverage changed. You became more receptive to my coverage of it. If you would like to find out more, I don't know if you were here at the time, but you can go back to this interview that I conducted on October 21st. I believe we uploaded it on October 22nd to develop a better understanding of the framework that I was operating on, which is no different than the framework that I'm operating on currently. It's an hour long. It's a little bit more condensed, but this could perhaps help you fully comprehend where I was coming from back then.
Can I rephrase what I said, maybe?
Okay. If you go back to legumes, though, we're not going to be able to have a productive conversation.
Well, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that obtuse of a rephrasing. I just think that you have a more humanist perspective on the Israelis now, because I felt like in the beginning, you painted with more of a broad brush, and that they were all bad.
Why do you think that I wasn't having? Can you give me examples? I've given you examples to disprove your point. Can you give me examples to prove your point, so we're not just operating off of your feelings? Because I can't disprove your feelings. It's just your feelings.
I can. Okay. The only hardcore example. Sorry, hold on one second. Give me one quick second. I have to read something. Sorry, my fiance wanted to ask about something. But
flex. Weird flex, but okay. I'm fucking with you, dude. Come on, give me an example.
What do you want me to say about it? I don't fucking know.
I'm messing with you. I'm trying to, this is not like a hostile conversation. So can you give me an example of what led you to believe that I had a monolithic approach to Israeli society in the first 6 months?
So, okay. Unfortunately, like, it's something that was kind of like validated through the Ethan stream, but like it is something that I felt, and like I don't know. I have said, if
why
you
unfortunately?
Logs, like,
no, stand by your convictions. There, it's not unfortunate if you feel that way, then you feel that way. But you can at least use some of the examples if that's your feeling, right? Like, can you give me an example?
Yeah. So if you let me finish my point, what I'm saying is, I think that the Timothée Chalamet thing, you know, that left like a really bad taste in my mouth, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just felt.
Can you tell me why?
Because even during the interview, like, I don't know if you're gonna acknowledge it, but like, you even felt fucking weird, man. That shit seemed very odd. I don't know. Like, the whole thing just felt really off. It was because you know,
I asked you.
Even said, like,
I didn't ask you for vibes. Come on, we can be serious.
Oh.
I didn't ask you for vibes. You said that I gave you examples of my coverage on both sides of this otherwise one-sided genocide, right?
It is a one-sided genocide. I want to agree with you there. Sorry to interrupt.
I didn't even assume that you didn't agree with me. You agree with me that it's a genocide. You agree with me that Israel's an apartheid state, right? Like, I don't even think that's a question. Yeah, great.
And I have friends there, for the record. Like, I've been to weddings in Israel. Like, I love people in Israel.
Okay,
like, they're very close.
So the original point that you made, was that in the first 6 months of my coverage, you felt like I was being insensitive. That you felt like I was basically saying that Israel is a monolith. And I asked you for examples, and instead of examples, you moved on to the interview that I conducted with Rashid. The teenager from Yemen. So, question for you.
I want to highlight that. Sorry, I have something I can say. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, go ahead. No. Okay, no.
I want to highlight something that I didn't hear from you, rather than something that I did. I know that's a little obtuse. I apologize. Sorry, but I didn't hear that the Israelis may not all accept the government that they are under. You know, that's not really something that you started addressing until much later in the conflict.
Yeah, you're wrong.
That really...
No, you're wrong.
Please tell me why and when.
Because on numerous occasions, including the one that is not... including the example that I gave you, which is the interview I conducted on October 22nd, which I think fits that time frame, and numerous instances before and numerous instances after, I talked about the diversity of opinion within Israel regularly. The reason why I'm pointing to this interview in particular is because it's one of the first interviews I conducted, and it happened to be someone who is directly in the Israeli Knesset. Not only that, but immediately on October 8 or 9, one of the first instances of my coverage featured victims on October 7 from the kibbutz Be'eri, okay? They had been transported to a hotel in the Red Sea, and I still remember it vividly. One of the victims, I believe she was a young woman who had more sympathy for the Palestinians even then, even after being a victim of this Palestinian resistance militia, like watching people get killed, still showed so much sympathy, so much empathy for the Palestinians on the other side of the Gaza boundary. That was, I think, literally the first day. I think it was on October 8th. And there has never been a moment where I have not shown that there are absolutely people of different mind in Israel, including, but not limited to, like I said, conscientious objectors, famous, notable Israeli scholars and historians. But beyond that, Haaretz writers, 972 magazine and Local Call magazine investigative reporters, people who are even liberal Zionists. The group called Standing Together, Omdim Beyachad, There are numerous examples that I have used to showcase the diversity of Israeli thought surrounding this issue. Some of the people that I've brought forward, I did not agree with. Some of the people that I brought forward, I did agree with. But it doesn't matter. This directly contradicts the statement that you're making.
I would like to make a little counterpoint. And, like, if you don't agree, then, like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't come here with, like, timestamps and shit like that, but just hear me out, all right?
Oh, no, I am hearing you out. Here's a tweet also from May 21st, 2021. Stop conflating Jews all around the world with the horrific, violent Israeli occupation. You are being anti-Semitic when you claim that all Jews are a monolith in their unconditional support for a far-right, ultra-nationalist, ethno-state government engaging in war crimes. There has never been a moment in my commentary which is informed by Jewish Israeli scholars that where I have made.
There's no way I can open your stream and see your stream. So.
No, it's fine. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you that there has never been a moment. The reason why it's very easy for me to point to this stuff is not because like chat is also chat was also here and heard me say these things, but the reason why I can directly contradict the things that you were saying is because that is not my worldview. And because it's not my worldview, that is the reason why I can very easily recall events from back then.
Sorry.
Here's my tweet from October 14th. I hope that those in the Western world can demonstrate a moment of self-reflection and have an ounce of the moral clarity of this 19-year-old victim who experienced the massacre in Kibbutz Be'eri. The person that originally posted this interview is Benzion Sanders. He is a part of the IDF, or was a part of the IDF, and was one of, I believe, the founding members of the veterans group that is against the Israeli occupation. I'm forgetting the name of it now. But go on. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Can I stop you for a second? Yeah. I'm sorry, but you're giving me a lot of examples of specific things that counter my point. To which I would say, yes, those are absolutely valid, right? But what you will not acknowledge and you will not cover are all the times that, this is stupid. I'm sorry. I didn't come here ready to debate you, man. But
no, but you have strong feelings, so I assume that you have something that has primed you into feeling this way.
Yes, and I have strong feeling. Yeah, but you're like, no, don't base it off vibes. But it's like, yeah, man, I didn't fucking type out on a goddamn spreadsheet like all the times you pissed me off, you know?
Okay, but like you can, I hope, at least recall something that primed you into this position.
So here's what I would say is that you're calling out the times where you interviewed specific people. What you're not talking about are all the times maybe like you could empathize with my position to where it's like, you know, maybe I didn't exactly call out the Israeli people as, you know, being completely humanistic from my perspective or something.
Wait,
right?
What? Okay. No. Your argument is that your original argument was that I did not show a diversity of thought within Israel in the first 6 months, and that I only started covering Israel from a more humanistic perspective in the last 6 months.
I wouldn't say last. Well, I don't have an exact date, but like
regardless, and I've given you only examples from early October, right? Early October, showcasing the many instances, and I'm willing to bet that I could go to the VODs.
Wait a minute.
I'm willing to bet, that I could go to every single VOD from October 8th, because I wasn't live on October 7th, October 8th, every single day for the 6 months, the first 6 months of the coverage, and find at least one, if not multiple instances where I have talked about the difference in opinion inside of Israel, that not every single Israeli is full tilt, hell-bent on conducting a genocide that their government is conducting. Even in instances where polling data makes it seem like the overwhelming majority of Israeli Jews, a designation not that I have made, because I think it's a gross designation, but a demographic designation that the Israeli government makes as they separate Jew and Arab inside of Israel.
I know, it's gross.
Yes.
Sorry.
Regardless, I mean, it's an apartheid. Of course it's gross. So polling is conducted, or was conducted, routinely, virtually every single day, if not weekly, during the month of October and onward, where the Jewish demographic of Israeli citizens, by 60% margins, saw the Israeli military conduct as appropriate or demanded more of it, like more violence, more bloodshed. And even then, I talked specifically about how there were still people who disagreed with that. And I can tell you right now, with a certainty, that I have covered that virtually every single day. I'm willing to bet that I have brought this forward. Anytime I've mentioned Israel, I have talked about this every single day for the first 6 months. So my question for you is this. In spite of all of that, why do you still feel this way? Or will this change your mind?
I mean, first off, like, it's really hard to change someone's mind of the past, I suppose, or like their experience of it. So, I don't know. I mean, like, again, I agree with how you're covering it now. I think it's, I'm sorry I said centrist earlier. That was the wrong wording for it. But I feel like that you recognize the Jewish people for, not being happy with their government now. Earlier, I don't think that you did that.
Okay, but I'm giving you examples.
Again, I don't.
But I am giving you
examples of specific. Hold on. You're giving me examples of like specific interviews you did, but like those are specific days, specific hours, right? But I'm talking about months. I'm not talking about hours.
What do you mean? Okay.
Like I'm talking. So you have pretty. Okay.
I have not changed. I'm going to tell you right now. And this is not even like me trying to argue against like what your vibes were about my coverage. It's more so me trying to correct the record. My tone and my attitude and my coverage has not been different about Israel since the beginning of October till now. You have the opportunity right now, a unique opportunity that is not presented to anyone else when they make an argument such as this one, to be able to go back to every single VOD and go through them. Or even if you don't want to watch the VODs, you can watch the condensed version. I have probably churned out one video or a couple every single day from my coverage. I think that if you looked at it with a fresher perspective, the perspective that you have now, because you now say that I cover it more humanistically, okay, or more in a more humane fashion. If you were to go back and watch those VODs or watch any of those videos now with today's fresher perspective, I think you would recognize that my tone and my intentionality in the way that I speak and in the way that I've covered this has not changed even a little bit.
Okay. I don't want to drag this out more than it has to. You know what? Yeah, I don't want to drag this up more than I have to. I haven't looked at chat. I'm sure they're very mad.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm the one who's controlling the conversation here. I'm the one who, thought that this would be a potentially valuable conversation to have. So I just want to understand where you develop these VODs.
Let's do it. Let's push it.
We now return to our interview with the insurance whistleblower.
I just think everyone should know there's an insurance company out there exposing other companies' rates so you can compare them and save.
Sounds like trouble.
It's great, actually. It's called Auto Quote Explorer from Progressive. Here, look. See? We show you our direct rates and their rates, even if we're not the lowest.
So, whistleblower usually means you're exposing something bad.
I thought it meant calling attention to something helpful. You know, like, toot toot, check it out. This thing's the best. No?
Like, you know, because I was at their weddings and, like, I have a lot of friends out there, you know? I was worried about, I expected the Israeli government to go, like, extremely fucking hard right and, like, you know, automatically, like, bring everyone back into conscription. So, I was very fortunate that didn't happen, you know? Because I think that they're fucking insane. Netanyahu's a fucking maniac. But, they were telling me it's just hard because they buy into the propaganda because they don't have access to much else, right? And that wasn't something that I heard covered a lot. It wasn't from the perspective of like, look, the Israelis are victims of their own government, as we are in America, right? Like, think of all the fucking.
That's an interesting position that you just brought forward. If only someone, I don't know, maybe his name is Hassan Piker, had made similar statements pretty early on and consistently throughout the first 6 months and the last 6 months as well. I don't know. I'm obviously being sarcastic. Like I said those things, and I do say those things all the time, actually.
I don't know. I don't.
Does this shock
I'm not gonna
you?
listen to I'm sorry, bro. I'm not gonna listen to the last 6 months of your fucking VODs.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. But it is it is interesting to me that again you were primed into believing this position, and I'm trying to show you evidence of the contrary, and evidence of the contrary happens to be like my firmly held commitment to a humanitarian approach to this subject. So it's very easy for me to disprove the statements that you're making because it is not my worldview, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
How do you think I fell into the position that I have? As a non-Jew, by the way. Like I grew up Lutheran. I'm from the fucking Midwest.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what your entire life history looks like. I don't know what's in your head. I don't know why I would there's no way that I could accurately figure out what it is, especially when you've already like asked a question that was already primed with things that I don't believe, like with the suspicion that you think I argue for positions that I don't argue for.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really have anywhere else.
I mean, I think you told me, if I didn't misunderstand you, I think you said that the bad vibes came from your friends in Israel that thought that I was covering it in a very one-sided manner, right?
Oh, no. Trust me. I'm the furthest left out of all of my friends.
No.
They don't listen to you.
Okay, I don't know. Then I don't know where. I guess I misunderstood what you had said previously. Then, but I guess my question is like, did you watch a lot of my coverage in the early month of October? Maybe it was too traumatic for you. Maybe you felt a closeness to the issue, so you just like might have written me off.
I felt like a bit like jaded after a few months. But no, at the beginning I was here and then I was listening, but then eventually I just felt like an impasse. From what I was experiencing with my friends and what you were covering as a person, which is kind of where I think it stems from.
Okay. You just said you're way more to the left than your friends. Everyone, I'm stupid too. Everyone has the capacity to be stupid. You also referred to your friends in Israel as like people who have like completely bought into the propaganda. it could be
No,
that
está mal.
was your
Yo
blind
estoy
spot.
mal.
I don't know, maybe, but ultimately, if you want the truth, right? Because it seems like you care about the truth. Like you like debating, I suspect, because you arrive at the truth that way. So the question for you is, you've talked a lot about your feelings in terms of my coverage, like how you feel about my coverage. Do you think it's more productive for you to at least like go back and watch one video, if not 2 videos from early October, with a fresh set of eyes after perhaps maybe 12 months of ongoing genocide, where your opinion might have changed on the matter, especially when I tell you that my opinion hasn't? Maybe you can, maybe it could be maybe it could be productive in like you self-examining how your thoughts might have changed over time.
I agree with that, and that's why I'm really grateful for the fan channels, because they upload a lot of older stuff.
Yeah.
And it just kind of it pops up on my feed that way. But what I will say is that so their perspective was that, like, you know, what do we do? Hamas are bombing hospitals with children in them. What are we supposed to do? And that was like, I'm really being like reductive here, but that was essentially like the perspective that they had. And it's like, well, that's a hard position to be in. You know, I recognize that that's a hard position to be in. I don't agree with the way the government went about it, and I recognize that, like, you know what, okay, here's something that I wish that would have been covered, is that the average age of both the Palestinian and IDF soldiers are 18 or under. That's fucking crazy, man.
Okay,
I was super reactionary
it's not,
at that age.
The average age of the IDF is not 18 or under.
Or sorry, 18 to 20. Well, I mean, it's 18 to 20 because it's mandatory conscription. But like, they're all young as fuck. Like, let's say 20 to 15. Like, I was reactionary as fuck during those 5 years.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not. Like, I don't know what you're pointing to here in terms of like my assessment of the situation does not change with this is not new information for me. My assessment of the situation is not remotely different.
I heard you cover a lot of like the Palestinians. The average age of a Palestinian soldier is like 15 to 18 or something like that.
I said that the average age of the Palestinian living in the Gaza Strip is under 18, and that the majority of the population there is under the age of 18. Having said that, however, I do not know what the average age of the like Palestinian resistance fighters age is, but I don't think that someone who is a part of a nuclear militarized state that gets every weapon known to man from the United States of America, that is currently conducting, forced conscription or not, currently conducting an ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza to a person who has existed under that ethnic cleansing campaign and permanent occupation and an apartheid regime that was born into that, that wants to resist against said occupation. I think it's not. This is not a like morally neutral boundary here. I think that there is a difference. Here's our Israeli Jewish chatter. He says, "For what it's worth, chatter, I've been watching for a while, and I can say that I've never felt dehumanized by Hassan's rhetoric. Occasionally, when chatters have taken dehumanizing or weird lines towards Israelis generally, or me specifically, he would call them out and remind chat to take a serious systemic analysis of the conflict instead of childish generalizations. And I don't take that for granted during a genocide." And I know that there are plenty of other Israeli Jews in this chat that also feel the same way. I perhaps, as a consequence of being both Turkish and American, understand the position of someone who is anti-imperialist in either of those countries, as I am anti-imperialist across the board. I can use my own lived experience as having an opinion like that in a country that is hyper militant and ultra nationalist like Turkey. Not to say that what Turkey's done to the Kurds is similar to what Israel's doing. I'm not, I'm not casting a broad brush and saying that these are the same. However, I understand the vibes of people that live in Israel, perhaps even better than someone who lives in America. And the reason for that is because Turkey also is a very nationalistic country. And my opinions there would not fly in the same way that Israeli Jews living in Israel who are leftists, their opinions do not fly in normal Israeli society either. But that is part of the reason why I think you are incorrect in your vibes. I can't, stop you from feeling a certain way. I can only tell you where I'm coming from. And if you think that my commentary did not feature the Israeli perspective, you would be wrong.
I would really love to hear more about how being Turkish or if you could relate your experience of being from Turkey relates to being from Israel. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's like I'm not saying that contentiously. I'm honestly saying that I think.
Yeah, I'll give you a really easy answer.
I'm not saying with me.
I'll give you a really easy answer. I can't go back to Turkey.
Okay.
I mean, my family still lives there. I can't go back to Turkey. Perhaps that will help shape your opinion a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some friends that are here in the U.S. that can't go back to Israel. Well, I mean, they probably could, but they shouldn't. I don't know if it's the same way.
That's a little different. No, I don't know. I don't know what your friends did in Israel, but my reasoning is that I can't because of the things that I have said about the Turkish government, things I've written about the Turkish government.
I will say when I went to Israel, they were extremely resilient about like what you said, how you feel about Israel, where you're going, the addresses you're going to, like everything. It's kind of nuts. But anyway, I literally do have to go, man. I'm sorry.
Okay. I hope I was able to help guide you through this process a little bit better. I hope you understand that maybe you might have been a little misguided about my coverage.
I'm going to go rewatch some of the fan channels videos because they're great. Like Hasnabi Archive. They're really awesome. Really like them. But
okay.
But yeah, I'm going to go rewatch some. I don't know. Maybe my opinions have changed over the years, but
I think you will find yourself. I think you will find yourself surprised if you go back and watch. Even you said you watched Ethan's coverage, right?
Yeah. Go back. I mean, I watch H3 too.
Yeah. So that's a great starting point. In the early, I think it was in October, maybe a little bit after October. If you go back and watch the last conversation that I had with Ethan on my stream, okay, with today's perspective, I think you will develop a very different understanding. Also, I think Hasnabi Archive is literally a bot channel and is oftentimes like puts insanely, sometimes racist fucking racist photos in their thumbnail. It makes it seem like I believe things.
I don't know about that. I
remember there was one where like he fucking put me making it seem like I believe that Haitians were eating cats and dogs, because I still remember that. But it's a bot channel. Insane. I have no control over it. But yeah, here the one that you can
reactions, Hasnabi. Sorry, there's a bunch of Hasnabi.
Well, regardless, there's a lot of Hasnabi fan channels. My point is, listen to the conversation that I had with Ofer Kasif early on. You can listen to the conversation that I had with the conscientious objectors of the idea that were arrested and went to prison, got out of prison. And the other one is, I suggest listen to the conversation that I had with Ethan himself and see if your opinion has changed, or see the way I conduct those conversations at that time, and maybe that'll change your mind.
Thanks for the starting point. I'm still gonna rag on you for calling you the CEO of socialism, and you fucking up that last debate you had with Ethan.
I'm not the CEO of socialism.
You are the CEO of socialism.
I'm not. I don't think that. Okay. Well, all right.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate the time.
All right. No problem. Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Your coverage always ages better with time. Like right now, I'm only on board with the Houthis as a resistance group, but I wouldn't say what you did with Nick. Maybe when I read more about it. I think there are Zionists who feel there is a way they can support Israel and Palestinians, or at least they could be in denial about how those may be dialectics, but maybe that is really possible. The one-state solution would hold Israeli leadership accountable for war crimes. I feel like Simply asked a very simple question and wrapped his garbanzo up. Does he think that Israel is committing a genocide in the Gaza Strip? Yes, he does. He does think that. He said so. Anyway, I'm surprised because I feel like you were harsher on Israel now than before, Law. I mean, yeah, I've always been harsh on the Israeli apartheid, yes. You are so consistent in your coverage that sometimes when I go back and watch old vids, the only way to differentiate is when it happened is your hair. Yes. Bro, serious question, how do you talk to people in the West when their normative position is that brown people aren't human? It feels so draining. Like, to him, brown people are purely evil, but Israelis just innocently tricked into being bad. I don't think that many people in the West recognize that that is their starting point. But I recognize that that is the starting point of many people in the Western world, which is why I have to be as patient as I possibly can be to walk them through the steps, just like I did with Asmongold. Can you touch on the Nick thing? Could give a fuck about the Houthi kid at this point, but the other one is still like grimacing emoji to me. Yes, of course. I have showcased. The funniest thing about the Houthi videos that I showed Nick, which is, you know, I used to fucking show the musical workings of the Lion of Syria, Bashar al-Assad as well, including, but not limited to, thank you USA, you are my best friend. Again, all sides of every conflict in general, in a humorous capacity. But in terms of like, if I'm going to be serious about this for a second, because a lot of people go, you show terrorism propaganda videos. That video from the Houthis is directly a video about them resisting against the Saudi genocide. Like, when you slap that when you slap like terrorism as a sticker onto it, that is what's fucking nutty about it. It's like those people saying, no, keep sending your bombs. It does not matter. We do not care. Okay? Now imagine, why do you not feel this way about the IRA videos? I used to play Black and Tans at the top of every hour. The IRA is a designated terror group. Is it because, one, the IRA is not Muslim, and two, it is a anti-colonial resistance group that saw some success? Is that the reason why there is a different association with that? It could be multiple different things. Now, having said that, as far as like the music video of the Houthis, like, we're like, oh, these guys are fucking terrorists. They're like giant pieces of shit. They're brown, they're terrorists, they're brown, they're terrorists. That's a video that they made, once again, during their resistance to the Saudi occupation and genocide. To me, sure, there's a political designation that comes along with terrorism, okay? And that designation exists for the IRA, as well as every other group, as well as Ho Chi Minh. So what is it? I show you shitty music that the fucking IDF puts, yeah, I mean, if the IDF, if I had access to the IDF musical theater that Benjamin Shapiro was putting together, I would watch that shit on stream too. But the song that I showed was specifically about the Saudi genocide. It mentions Mohammed bin Salman by name, and it is nothing to do with like anti-Semitism or anything that the Houthis may believe. Nick is a normie. He's ignorant about the Middle East. I don't think he has bad intentions. Wait, what? No. Nick's perception of that entire day is not what people online have clipped out of context. What are you guys talking about? Nick is my friend. What the fuck? I've been working in honor on the IT side for years and never had interest about the situation until I saw your video with Nick where you summarized the situation. Just know that they're impartial. And about the false accusations about the relationship with Hamas, can you share your thoughts or link a video where you talk about it? What do you mean? Yeah, Nick didn't give a fuck about any of that. What are you guys talking about? Yes, but if you read Reddit comments, you think you tried to recruit Nick to Hamas? Yes, of course. If there is, Reddit, I think at this point we know, is very susceptible to brigading. That's number one. Number two, most of the people that conduct said brigading are not human beings who have normal friends in the real world. They are, on the outside, trying to fucking make sense, or sometimes not even make sense, but propagandize things that may or may not have happened. I am one of the parties that they are talking about. Why would you not go to the primary source and instead think about people that are incredibly far removed from the subject matter with a biased perspective and how they perceive two people interacting with one another? I will never understand that.
El sabor te distrae momentáneamente del horrible hedor que flota en el aire. Vamos a ajustar cuentas, demonios del Averno.
Anyway, now let's get back to Hind Hassan, who interviewed Yahya Sinwar.
وقفت على الشباك على البلكونه بطلع بقول وين الناس اللي كانت هان؟ وين اهلي اللي كانوا هان؟ ايش اللي صار؟ احنا في حلم ولا علم؟ زهقت ما قدرتش صعقت نفسي راح خلص مش قادر اتحمل. بدي افهم انا ايش اللي عملنا.
Abu Salim's brother wasn't so lucky. He was buried under the rubble of their home for 12 hours. He's still in the hospital receiving treatment. How are you feeling right now?
والله تعبان جسمي تعبان مرهق صدري في شعر في كسر هنا.
Who did you lose?
أبويا وأمي وأختي.
Hind Hassan and Lama Al Arian.
أخويا الكبير والد أخويا ومرتي وابني البكر وابني الثاني 16 سنة وبنتي وابن أخويا وبنت أخويا ومرت ابن أخويا وطفل 3 شهور وولاد عمي 2 وولاد عمي
3 younger cousins, children,
بنات
my cousin's daughters.
جريمة.
This is a crime.
جريمة.
A crime.
جريمة عشان إيش؟